Our last speaker is Ellen Lundgren. She's going to be talking about branding and marketing your group. She has been the Secular Student Alliance leader at her school in Grand Rapids, Grand Valley State University. And she's just newly hired a regional campus organizer for the SSA for Texas. So please welcome Ellen.
Thank you. So, effective ways of marketing and branding your group. As you can see, I have my credentials up here. I was the SSA designer intern last summer. I just graduated with a fancy BFA. That's a Bachelor of Fine Arts, so I can do art professionally. Current Texas RCO and Adobe Creative Suite guru. If you have any questions on how any Adobe Suite thing works, I can probably answer it. You can find me on Twitter there. So, in marketing your group, there's several steps you want to know. First is understanding your campus climate. If you've been there for at least a year, you probably understand it pretty well. You should know what type of climate it is. Is this a small campus? Is this a really large campus? Does it have a strong political presence? Are you going to need to kind of cater to different sides of political fence? Is there a lot of vandalism that you're going to have to handle? Is there a lot of outside community involvement? If you're like a small community college, you might have a slightly different audience than if you're exclusively like four-year university and it's just students. Are memes popular? That's a big thing I've run across. Does your campus really get into memes online? Because that will probably factor into what kind of marketing you're using. The second most important step is know your audience. Who are you trying to talk to with your branding and your marketing? When you're putting flyers up around campus, are you trying to get new members? Are you trying to just raise awareness to any students? Are you trying to get faculty involved? Are you trying to get your progressive allies involved? Or are you trying to speak to religious groups? So you really need to know your audience and factor in the campus climate to speak to them appropriately. Step 3, know what you're advertising. It's like know your audience, you need to know what to say to them. So are you advertising your regular business meetings that you want members to attend, in which case a full campus-wide publication probably isn't going to be that useful? Are you advertising a campus-wide social event or a in-group social event? Is this a fundraiser where you want to get anybody and everybody involved? A speaker event for anybody and everybody, or for a certain group of people? Maybe you only want physics majors to see something. Or is this an advocacy event where you're protesting or doing Brother Jed bingo or trying to collect signatures for something? Know what you're trying to sell to students. So moving on to kind of my expertise area is design. I see a lot of bad design. So there's a lot of it. That isn't to say that bad design doesn't work. Sometimes bad design works great because people talk about how awful the design is, and then that gets them talking about whatever the design is advertising. So that's not to say bad design is your worst enemy. Just know the difference between good and bad design. It's probably better to have good design because it will probably attract more attention. So we're gonna cover these 3 things here. For your media choices, going back to those first 3 steps, your campus climate, your audience, and what you're trying to sell. This will all determine what of these media choices are going to be your best bet. Again, if you're trying to get some campus-wide event out there for anybody and everybody, advertising on your college's webpage might be best. Big flyers or banners that you can like hang in your student union or something. Tabling to get out there and talk to everyone, versus some in-group social event where just a Facebook event would do, or those like quarter sheet, we call them pluggers. They're just like the little quarter sheet things you can hand out to a person face to face. That's a lot more effective, handing someone something and giving them something rather than just some arbitrary poster on a wall buried among all the other billion campus postings. So keep in mind all your different media choices when you're deciding what to say to who. briefly covering logos and names. Logos, like your group logo, is a big part of your group's branding. You want a logo that people are going to recognize, that people are going to see, and that's going to make an impact so they understand what it is as soon as they see it. I'm going to have some lovely examples of good and bad logos coming up here. But some very basic steps of decent logo design. Bold, 1 or 2 colors, that's not including black and white, those are like freebies. But you don't want something with like rainbow colors, that's not going to turn up well if you only have black and white printing. You're going to want something punchy that's just going to attract a lot of attention. That brings me to minimal. You don't want a lot of stuff on your logo. I'll have examples in a moment. You want it easy to read and a logical name that people like instantly know what it means. There's a few examples that'll be up here where you have no idea who the logo is for because they don't have their name on it. And then what was the other? Icons versus text. You can use a combination of both, but icons I think of as just some punchy image that people are going to recognize. And sometimes groups just use a simple text logo of a certain font in a certain color that's unique, and that's their logo. So either will work, a combination of both will work. It's just up to what you think works best for your group. So, bad logos. Who can tell me why these are bad?
The yellow and blue one.
Yep, let's see, can I point on here? Yeah, this yellow and blue one, like what font is that? And why is it on stripes? And why is it black with a white outline? Like I can't even read what that says. So that's bad.
Well, the top left one I would say is bad because their logo is smaller than secular center lines.
This one is actually almost good. But the problem is with the Secular Student Alliance branded like logo alterations, you are not allowed to add extra drop shadows, or actually drop shadows okay, but they have like this weird glowy edge thing going on around it. You're not allowed to do that to the SSA logo. So that's bad for that reason. Otherwise, this would be totally fine. So it's just logo alterations. You can actually find more information about how you can use and change the SSA logo for your group. I think it's secularstudents.org/alt-logo, ALTLOGO. So look that up and it will tell you how you can and cannot alter the SSA logo. And we will give you the logo files to edit if should you want to use that for your group, and then you can get it approved through us and we'll tell you if it's good to go or not. So that brings me to this center one. This is the old logo. Don't use that anymore. You're not allowed to because it's old and it's crappy. There's a reason they've updated it. If you're still using this old logo, we highly recommend you update it. Let's see. Why is this one bad? Yeah, who is it? I have no idea. It's a cool logo, like, it's like literally punchy, and, but I don't know who it's for. It'd make a really cool sticker, actually. But this one is like kind of the same. This is like the too much stuff thing. Like they have too much stuff going on and like small text that I can't read and a bunch of different fonts and just there's too much going on. Sort of same thing with this one up here. I could hardly read that the first time I saw this. It's just like too much information, too many icons being packed into one single message. You want it straight up and really easy to get in a split second. Same thing here. This looks like it actually might be like a website banner, but it's still, you have all these little affiliate logos over here, I think, and some really tiny text over here that nobody's going to read, and it's just too much going on. So, any questions about bad logos? Nope, okay. Good logos. Doesn't this page look much nicer? So why are these good?
Everything's readable.
Everything's readable.
Not too colorful.
Yeah, not all wacky colors out there, yeah. Yeah, that's it. This one's really cool. That's a valid point. Like I was saying about using the SSA logo before, you are allowed to alter it. This is a good example of how you can alter it. One of the logo alteration guidelines is that the dark areas must stay dark and the light areas must stay light. So the dark blue up here, the yellow in the middle, dark blue down there, that's good. If they reversed this, so it was dark blue in the center and then yellow on the top and bottom, that goes against the logo guidelines. So this is an example of using it well. This is also an example of using it well. One of the other logo guidelines is you can't cover more than like 15 or 20% of the logo. I have no idea how you would calculate that, but basically as long as you don't have your logo stamped over the Secular Student Alliance logo, which some groups have done before, you're okay. So having this little paw up here and having the university acronym down here, that's good design. You're doing well. Any other good things to point out about these logos? This one's for ISSA.
We have an alma mater statue, and it's a play on that. Like,
Yeah.
wearing the iPhone.
Yeah, so it works in with the campus. Like, I guess like students would understand that. Yeah. And I just think this one's really cool. Like obviously someone spent a lot of time on that. But I love this sharks one. Someone pointed that out. Like their acronym is sharks and it's in the shape of a shark. Like how cool is that? And then they just have some subtext here that explains the whole long acronym. That's cool. Same with the UNLV one over here. I don't know if those of you who were here last year, the UNLV who hosted the SSA West conference a couple weeks ago, they all came here in like a giant caravan. It was like 17 of them, and they were all wearing these UNLV t-shirts with that logo on it, and it looked really impressive. There's these black t-shirts with this fist and like UNLV, and it's really punchy, really like to the point, and you get it. So that's an example of good design. I love this one, but the only issue is who's it for? So this would be an example of having an icon logo, but then you'd have additional text with it, for this is for the group, This is another example of icon with text is its bottom one. So now, pop quiz. Tell me which ones are good and which ones are bad and why.
Occupation is good.
Why?
You can read it, get an idea, but you really know what it is. So, it has a teapot.
We like teapots. What's bad about that one, though?
I don't really know what it's for.
Yeah, we don't know what group it's for. So I've got tricky ones in here. So
The doodly wide one looks kind of not good.
The flying spaghetti monster. It's just.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that it's flying spaghetti monster, but again, it's for.
yeah,
Who would know that other than us?
yeah. I mean, yeah, like this is a type of logo that it's totally fine if you're advertising within your group and that's like what your group's brand is. But if you're trying to get people outside of your group who might not know what the Flying Spaghetti Monster is, you might want something a little more open and understandable.
And the one above it is the F exclamation. I'm just completely wrong.
Yeah, I don't remember what group was with that, but they didn't even have an F in their name. So I don't know what that was for. Well, Free Thinkers wasn't in the name at all, so I don't know why it was there.
Maybe that's their title, but they just didn't put in their name or something.
Maybe.
Northwestern I think is good.
Yeah, I agree. Yes?
That's not the Secular Student Alliance logo.
This one, correct. That is not the Secular Student Alliance logo. Again, that's the old logo. Don't use it.
It's also not the old logo. That's a recreated logo.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow, that really is. Yeah, you're not allowed to try and recreate the logo. People, like student groups have tried to do this a lot. They try and find the fonts and the right colors and make the cool curvy lines. We'll give you the logo files for free. It's secularstudents.org/logo. There's all the like high-res logo files, and if you need the vector, you email us and we send it to you. So don't try and recreate the logo. You're just going to make it really hard for yourself because we give it to you for free. So how about these ones over on this side?
That looks good. I like that one.
Which one?
Lift.
Lift? Yeah, I like that one.
I don't like the globe one.
Yeah. What don't you like about it?
I don't know, it just looks it kind of makes no sense to me. I don't know. It doesn't
Like,
speak to me.
it's clever.
to me,
It's
but I
clever.
just don't know what it's for. I know it's like sass, but
Yeah.
sass.
It's clever, but it also reminds me of like 90s clip art.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we need sass in our message.
Yeah.
I think it's the acronym of the group. I don't remember the group name, but again, that's one of the things that would make sense to the group, but to an outside person, you might not understand it. So, And like this one over here, somebody obviously spent a lot of time illustrating this, and it's a really cool idea, but it has nothing to do with the name of the group, where they're from. Use it as a profile picture, but not your group logo.
And the one above it is comments.
Yeah, like this one's really awesome. Again, really like interesting design. Like it looks, you know, some art major got to this and like went nuts, and that's great. You should utilize your art majors on campus. That's one way to get great logo design. Find a secular art person and just be like, hey, you want to design our logo for your portfolio? And they'll probably do it. But yeah, this one looks awesome, but there's like so many squiggly lines going on, and I don't know what they mean. And if you shrink it down really small, it's just going to be a scribbly mess. That's another thing you want to keep in mind with logo and branding design is it going to be scalable? If you make it really tiny, like a really tiny Facebook profile picture, is it just going to like, are you going to be able to read the text anymore? Are you going to be able to tell what it is? That's another reason why you want it really graphic and punchy and not a bajillion colors going on. So here's where we need the screen up, if you don't mind. Screen. Buttons. So back to advertising on your campus. I pulled all of these. Can I walk around? Am I walking? We're good. Okay. I pulled all of these flyers off of the SSA Design Exchange. I'm not sure the URL extension for that. So if any of these are your flyers and I say bad things about them, don't take it personally. This is a learning opportunity. But yeah, if you can't see from the back, you might want to move forward a little bit because we're going to do the same thing. Which of these catch your attention? Why do they catch your attention? Is it good? Is it bad? And what can you learn from that?
Neil Tyson. Neil Tyson got me right off the bat.
Neil Tyson? Yep, this one? Yeah.
Oh man.
That's where I was like talking about, is your campus into memes? Because that will sometimes really get people if you're like in that internet culture.
We'll have a subreddit.
Yeah.
That's probably
That's a good way to advertise. Ours is dead, but if yours is active, go with the funny memes and it'll get popular. What other ones?
I love that one in the middle at the top on the left.
This one?
The Alliance of Happy Atheists.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
The image is very clear.
Yep, clear image.
Tells you everything you need to know.
Yep, very basic. The name of the group, what they are, when, where. What more do you need?
I really like creating religion.
Yeah.
Makes you want to be an undergraduate again.
That one's good. Yeah, this one's good. I think this one's funny. It's very basic. You have the when, the where, kind of what it is, what group, where you can find them. That's a good thing. You want to have your contact information on there, and then just a really interesting image that catches your eye. Like, that's pretty good.
I don't know what's up with the fuck you poster.
Yeah.
Says, everyone has the right to be offended. Humanist Subjective League of Youngstown, and then some contact info. Yeah, I don't get it either.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's attention getting, but it might not be the right kind of attention getting as well.
Should one be concerned about using like webcomic in your flyer, like
actually
sex?
Where's
On the bottom.
bottom? Oh, this one. If you can get away with it, like technically it's copyright, but I'm sure most schools aren't going to go around tearing down flyers with copyright infringement. I think it's kind of fair use type of thing.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
For copywriting, well, the anything on the internet, if you don't have to pay for it, hopefully you can use it.
Yeah, I think that falls under fair use. It's educational purposes, so that might be game. But again, like, this might be good if you have the word sex. That's going to get every college student's attention, first of all. But then you come in closer, and there's a comic, and you have something that gets you up close to read it and absorb the information. That's pretty good. It might not look fancy or look beautiful, but it's like, okay, wow, I'm interested in that word, and so you walk up closer, and then you read what's actually happening. That's pretty good versus something like this, which is this big, ugly, long math equation. As an art student, that's just,
I don't like the graph either on the other one.
yeah. Yeah, that might work in some, like the math science hall or something, but that's not going to catch your average freshman, I'm guessing. Any others? Good or bad?
Is that Rocky?
This one?
I can't.
I don't know what that is. It's like,
Impossible to read.
A statue in chains, yeah. Be aware of your color use. If you're using a full color image like this one, they have white text on this light blue background, sometimes overlapping this black. You can't read that. So be aware of what colors you're using on what. I've also seen signs before where like if it's this color green, but then like this red text on it, if you print that out in grayscale, they're gonna be like the same color. Because if people are colorblind, they're not going to read that. So make your value changes really different. That even if you did this one in grayscale, the atheists might sort of disappear into the black, because if red is put into black and white, it's pretty much black. So be aware of that if you design something in color but then print it grayscale. Any other ones?
The Darwin Day one's kind of boring. It's just like a huge block of text and like the one on the top right.
Oh,
Yeah.
People might not.
Be wanting to read.
Anything with a paragraph on it's probably not good.
Yeah, like this one. Like I think it's like their whole mission statement and what they do. Like that's nice, but I think that gets the point across. If people don't agree with that, you're probably not going to get their attention.
Seems like that's more for like a handout.
Yeah, that's like, like campus life night when you're like, here's our group, here's what we are. Like that might be good. Let's see if I can point out a few more. This one, I like this one. This one's kind of cool. It's very simple, but it's got this big font with this cool question. Which ones are real? Unicorns, dragons, gods, or none of the above? Hint, the answer is D. But then it has these, it does have a paragraph on it, which I might get rid of or replace with something else, like a meeting location or something. But it has these rip-off tabs on the bottom with just their group website, which I think is really clever. Like people love to take little rip-off tabs, so do that. It's cool. I think this one's pretty all right. Again, big headline people are going to notice, and an interesting fact in picture form. People like pictures. They don't want to read blocks of text. So this gets that message across, and then just what group and where they're at. See if I can find any others over here. Opinions on this one? Eh? Yeah, I think the printout's just kind of bad on this one. It was cool. It's like a guy walking through a cathedral. So. Yeah, but you can read it, which is an important thing. Like the picture isn't as important. They might care more when they walk up close to it. The important thing is getting that text across and what the group is. So, all right, you're not going to win every design awesome point, but you're gonna get close. So, see, I think I'm out of time. So, yeah.
Okay, is there any good design you can use if you are not an art major and you cannot draw and you have no art majors in your group?
Well, I would recommend the SSA Design Exchange, but these are the examples of what's on there. I do plan on changing that since I'm an art person. I do have a lot of flyer designs that I will be uploading on here. I'll try and get some generic ones that you guys can use. If you guys have any cool art majors in your group, tell them to submit things to here. The Design Exchange's been kind of forgotten for a while, so please use it. If you have awesome flyers, either for your group advertising or any cool events you've hosted, put them on there so other groups can use them, or at least see them as examples. So, any other questions? Yes?
I have a very quick one.
Yes.
It may terrify people, but at Harvard we spent a lot of time getting our design absolutely right. We spent years on it. One of the most valuable resources we found is a website called Don't Freak Out, Church Marketing Sucks. It's a very good website which is designed for church groups to improve their marketing, but the examples are exquisite, and they're often 10 times better than the stuff that we're doing. And so we just take those examples, we do our own thing with them, but it's a great source of inspiration. It looks at tons of tumblers and tons of design principles and stuff like that. It's very valuable to include.
Yeah, just Google some graphic design 101. You'll find tons of tutorials on just these very basics. But otherwise, I hope this was helpful, and thank you guys for coming.